So when you are trimming, you should check the working table so that it is adjusted perpendicular to the trimming wheel, and you should look over the cast for any air bubbles and remove bubbles of gypsum with a lab knife if needed. Soak the models in water for about 5 minutes just so that they're easier to trim. Adjust your water flow, and you want to hold the models firmly against the grinding wheel and trim any excess plaster. So you should place the maxillary model on the table, teeth down, and measure from the teeth to the base of the cast. The atomic portion should be 2/3 the total height. Use a pencil to mark the entire model for the maxillary and the mandibular models, and trim the models to the lines that you draw. So for the maxillary posterior border, you should trim 8 mm behind the maxillary tuberosities, and for the lateral borders, you should trim 8 mm from the buccal side of the canine and the molar, leaving the mucobuccal fold. And for the maxillary anterior cut, you should cut a line from the canine to the midline at an angle, forming a V at the midline. And for the heel cuts, 8 mm away, 45-degree angle from the last tooth. Both sides should be symmetrical. This is my maxillary cut. It's not super accurate. I had a hard time drawing with the Google program, but anyways, here's my mandibular. So for your posterior border, it should match the maxillary. You'd pretty much do the same thing. And for the lateral border, it's 8 mm from the buccal side to the canine and molar, just like the maxillary. And for the mandibular anterior border, it's a rounded cut, so 8 mm from the midline and canine, making a circular arc. And the heels should match the maxillary as well. So what you're looking for in your models is that they have the same posterior border, that the height of the models, like occluding together, should be 2 to 3 inches. Height of the models parallel to the table. The bases are similar in size, flat, and that they don't rock. That they fit tight together. That the anatomy is 2/3 the height, and the base is 1/3 of the height. Then you should make sure that they are level, and the same size, width, and height. The posterior border should be flat and trimmed correctly. The midline perpendicular to the posterior border. Heels trimmed correctly. Your wax bite should be included and labeled properly. Make sure the models are symmetrical and smooth. The lateral borders are flat and 8 mm from the teeth. The anterior borders flat or curved for mandibular, 8 mm from the teeth. You want no flat tooth cusps or broken or chipped teeth. You want to be careful. And the patient name and the date should be marked on the posterior border of both models.